degree in English literature, and I graduated in the summer. And I'm on a placement year now in Unitemps, LGMU's company that hires students part-time. So I'm a compliance administrator, and hopefully I'll be moving on to the consultant recruiter in a few months. And I've just started doing some of the social media for Unitemps, so I'm looking forward to see where that takes me.
Yeah, so we've got 3 speakers today. So we have Shannon from Think Wine, and then we've got Amy from Princes, and Pippa here, who has come to speak about how she uses social media and her marketing strategy at Scoop. Pippa, if you have a deck to present, please feel free, and if you can, that would be great. I know we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Amazing. Hi everyone, thank you for that intro. My name is Pippa and I own an agency called Scoop. We are a brand communications agency for ambitious businesses. So we work with everyone kind of hospitality, leisure and tourism, live events to deliver full service marketing campaigns. I actually went to LGMU. I was on the marketing course maybe like 11 years ago. So a while back now, and I originally didn't really know what I wanted to do off the back of it. I knew I really enjoyed marketing. I tried a few different internships. I ended up working in public relations, really loved it, did that for a couple of years. Then I moved into the marketing team at Capital. So I launched Capital Liverpool, hopefully you know what that is. I also work with Heart Radio, XFM before it changed over to Radio X, and Capital in Manchester and Yorkshire. And then I moved over to the BBC where I worked in the youth marketing team. So everything from CBBS, CBBC, BBC Radio 1 Teen Awards, before deciding to start my own agency. So Scoop has been going for 4 years in January, and I will actually, I've got a little presentation here. So a little bit about Scoop. As I mentioned, we are brand communications for ambitious businesses. So we started off predominantly as a public relations agency because that was what we had background in. But over the course of kind of the last 4 years, we've evolved, and now we do everything from kind of launching different businesses, content creator campaigns, social media strategy, brand building. We'll show you a little bit about that. So hopefully you'll recognise some of the brands in that video. So we work for brands like Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen, the people that make the fried chicken that people queue around the block for. We launched Tonight Josephine in Liverpool last year. We work with Big Fang, who have the karaoke venue, but also Golf Fang in Liverpool. We work with lots of different venues in Manchester. We work with Gadio. We work with Highest Point Festival, which is a festival in Lancashire. And like I said, it's kind of delivering a little bit of everything for them. So what we say is we support businesses when it matters most, and we grow audiences through creative campaigns. As you guys will all know, like social media evolves so much. So whereas before it was all about creating a social post, actually what we do on our side is we don't deliver the social, but we deliver the content that sits within that social. So be that working with content creators that can help build social channels, be that coming up with creative ideas that teams can use. So for example, with Popeyes, I'll show you some content, but we work with like really big TikTok creators. And basically our job is to make sure that customers understand the brands that our clients have built. We deliver all different elements of marketing. So marketing strategy, comms strategy, brand identity, business profiling, brand activations, influencer campaigns, making sure that people are talking about different brands so that then translates across social as well. So a few of the brands that we've done it for, so I've mentioned a few of these already, but we also have worked with brands like Pins, Skiddle, which is a huge ticketing platform, and we help them build up brand awareness through creative campaigns. We work with some trade focused kind of clients too. So for example, Northern Restaurant and Bar, which is a huge conference that takes place in Manchester that all of the hospitality traders go to. So really varied stuff. Rather than just keep talking about what we do, I'll show you some of the examples as well. So we deliver a lot of creative campaigns for clients. So one thing that we find is that actually to get people talking on social, we need to get them interacting with us in real life as well. So for example, with our work with Skiddle, we delivered a huge campaign around festivals. It was really hard to kind of get this obviously people go to festivals all the time and the content from the festivals is great, but to make Skiddles stand out in terms of the ticket seller for the festivals, we created loads of content, video content around a candle that we named Festivo, which was actually a candle that smelled like a festival. So it had different layers as you worked through it. It smelled like freshly cut grass, then it smelled like burger vans, then it smelled like stale booze. And we use this to engage media, but also to get people talking about it online. So we created a full infomercial that went across the brand's social channels, and as well as media outreach to see if we could get people talking about it, which helped them with an increase in traffic across their social. When we launched Tonight Josephine in Liverpool, we did a lot of stuff that was quite experiential. One of the things was delivering an out-of-home poster campaign. So we took over poster sites across Liverpool. You'll probably see quite a lot of them around the Baltic, with selfie mirrors, so that we were asking people to take a picture in the mirror, post it on social, and they could win a free night out. So again, meeting people in real life and then getting them to go to our social channels. We've also recently worked with a bowling alley, and this was a really exciting way of working with creators. So I won't kind of go through the full campaign, but one thing that was really cool that we did with social is we had to create a gifting campaign that needed to take place just to get people excited about the new bowling alley. There's obviously a lot of bowling alleys, there's a lot of competition now, and what we did is the bowling ball that you can see there was actually made out of chocolate. The whole thing was hollow chocolate, and we actually asked the different creators to break into it to find their different invites. So what we saw off the back of this was not only huge social engagement, but all of the influencers that would usually ask to be paid to go to different events were dying to go to Kingpins, the bowling alley, because they'd seen these amazing invitations. And it was a way that we started building up social following and social content before we actually had access to the bowling alley, because this was done kind of about a month before. And then off the back of that, we get loads of content for social, which we see drives a massive spike in social followers, social engagement, bookings, people via the website. And we actually don't manage the social channels for this client, but what we do is everything that we do from a comms point of view pushes to social. So if you are considering a career in social, I think it's really interesting to look at the different ways that that might play out, be it content creators, you creating the actual content, you running the channels, or actually PR and comms, which feeds into that as well. Hopefully some of you have heard of Popeyes. We are one of Popeyes' official PR partners. So Popeyes use different PR partners around the UK, and we cover the north. So we opened the Liverpool venue, and more recently the Manchester venue. And a lot of what we do is building hype before launch. And actually the brand doesn't have millions of social followers in the UK. I think they're on about 23k at the moment. But what we need to do is make sure that thousands and thousands and thousands of people are seeing this before it launches every time, because we build queues. The kind of stuff that we do is making people want to queue for the first bite moment by working with different media platforms to get content across their channels. So in Liverpool, it will be the Echo, the Guide, Independent Liverpool, whereas in Manchester, it would be people like the MEN, Finest, Proper Manchester, and making sure that those media titles are getting the best coverage, so that when we are trying to launch the venue, that everyone knows what they're getting. We also work with some really incredible partners, including Only Scrans. I've put that it's 700k views, but over the weekend it's actually gone up to 965k. All organic views, just based on us using the perfect creator for this campaign. And one of our objectives is to build social, and as part of that, what we do is we make sure we get loads and loads of press coverage that drives to the different social channels, so that when the time comes, people are queuing around the block, but also following the brand on social. And some of the creators that we've worked with, we do some really cool experiential stuff with, like Popeyes had a winner chicken spinner on their website. So we brought that to life and had it made for the content creators to use, and people in shopping centres to interact with the brand in person. But in order for them to spin it, they had to follow the brand on social. So there's lots of different ways where we can build campaigns together to tie in the social element without us actually running any social channels. And that's us on site at Meadow Hall last week, where we had the activation. Again, the aim of that was to build social, but without us having access to the social channels, because that's run through a separate agency. And that is me. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm really open to taking any questions on any of that. I know there's some other speakers that might be going first.
Brilliant, thanks Pippa, that was so interesting to hear, especially from like a student perspective. So yeah, that was great. Shannon, if you want to share your screen, Shannon is from We Are SN and Think Wine as well, so really interesting to how you use social media and your marketing strategy within your business. So if you want to share a presentation, that would be great.
Hello everyone. So I haven't actually got the presentation. I thought it was sent over. Sorry, I'm just jumping in on behalf of Sam today. So I am really sorry. Let me just check my emails.
Don't worry, we can share it if you need us to.
Yes, if you could, that would be amazing.
Brilliant. I think Linda's popped it up for you there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah, so I am here today. I work for Social Nation, and we have a sister company called Think Wine Group. I'm here today on behalf of Sam because he unfortunately couldn't be here. So yeah, bear with me. This was all a bit last minute. So yeah, so do you want to go on to the next slide? So here we go. So this is a little bit about us. So we've got some of our wine bottles on the side. So we offer low calorie, gluten-free, vegan wine that is a lot better for you. It's got low sulfite, so you don't feel awful afterwards. And yeah, people love us. It fits really, really well into diets. And it's premium, so it's served up and down the country. So that's one half of our company, and then the other half is Social Nation, which is a premium influencer marketing agency. So here are some of our clients. We've got Georgia, we've got Mimi, and we have got Sophia. So we do lots of different campaigns across all different variations of social media as well. So yeah, so it's always interesting. We work with different brands, and we're sort of the middleman between the big brands, the campaigns, and then our clients. So that's us basically. I've got a few notes here, so let me just go into those. So yeah, so in terms of our type of marketing, with Social Nation, we do a lot of brand collaborations. So brands use us for their marketing, and we assist them. And literally, like I touched on, we're the middleman in between. They will come to us with a brief, and we will pick from our clients who fits that brief the best. Because ultimately, we want the brand to get the best return on investment, and the best brand awareness, basically. So yeah, so we facilitate that deal, negotiate, and get the best out of it for both the brand and the influencer. So it grows both organically. And then in terms of Think, the type of marketing strategy that we use there, we use SMS marketing, email marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. We use a specific company called Utilize Agency for our Facebook ads. So we work collaboratively with them. We also do a lot of influencer marketing, obviously, because it's all under one roof. So we do lean into the influencer marketing as well when pushing the wine out there and stuff. So you'll see a few of our girls and a few of the other influencers with our wine, and we've got quite a cult following for it anyway. So they do love it. In terms of how we sort of track trends and things like that, we will take reports from our website and Shopify to see where the high purchase rates are. So then we're able to run specific ads in those locations. So for example, London and Scotland are huge in terms of our sales for the wine. So we are able to target those areas with our Facebook and Instagram ads. Yeah, so in terms of other marketing that we do as well, we've got our very branded Think van. You can see it. It's a lot prettier in real life, to be fair, but you can see a little picture on there. We've got another one getting made as well at the moment, so that should be really exciting and hopefully branches out a little bit more. And loads of people send us like pictures when the van's out and about and stuff, being like, "We've seen you in London, we've seen you in Manchester," whatever. So it's dead nice to have that sort of connection with the people who are following us as well. So that's basically us. Is there another slide? I'm not quite sure. Not entirely sure if there's another slide, but I'm down for questions at the end if you would like me to cover anything.
Shannon, this is your last slide. If you can see the celebration slide. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think in terms of any questions, I'm more than happy to take those at the end. But that's us.
Fab. We have a brief Q&A at the end, so we'll be sure to ask you a few questions at the end. Thanks, Shannon.
Amazing, thank you.
So this is Amy from Prince's Company. Thank you for coming here today, and we're looking forward to hearing about your social media marketing strategies.
No problem. Let me just share my screen.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I obviously work for Prince's, which is a food manufacturer. We are one of the largest food manufacturers in Europe, which covers 11 different sites across the world. So that includes the UK, Italy, and Mauritius. And just one thing to point out really is if you look at the right-hand side, we obviously manage a lot of different brands, which means that because we are such a large business, we probably manage our things like social media marketing and our strategies in a slightly different way than we will have picked up on today. So first, just want to touch on, so what is marketing? So obviously marketing is a contest to fight for attention, and within Prince's, because we manufacture a lot of commodity branded food items, with things like the cost of living crisis, consumers are so price aware at the moment, so it's really important for us to make sure that our brands stand out. And obviously a product's purpose is to perform its function effectively, but the value of a brand is making consumers believe that it does more than that. So one of the examples that we've got really from our Prince's portfolio is Branston baked beans. So obviously everyone's got baked beans in their cupboard, but then we've got Heinz as the brand leader, and then retailer owned brands who kind of sit at that kind of lower tier within the market. So Branston's really got to make its voice get heard as the challenger brand and make sure that we're kind of getting those taste credentials across, making people want to trade up from own label and making people want to trade down from Heinz, giving that value option. So it kind of just gives us a good way to use our social strategy as well as with our digital marketing strategies and above the line campaigns to make sure that we're getting that message across. So within Prince's, because we are such a large business, we work slightly differently. So we have the 4 key focuses to make sure that our brands are standing out, which are brand marketing. So that includes things like out-of-home campaigns, television adverts, and radio. Then we also have a big focus on shopper marketing. So that'll be like in-store, in Tesco, or on retailer online platforms. Then, of course, we've got our digital marketing side of things, which covers all social media, websites, YouTube, etc. And then we've also got an area of the business which focuses on innovation, making sure that we've got the right products in the right market and whether we need to make any changes. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on how Prince's manage our digital marketing section of the business and how that works with the total brand strategy. So the way that we work at Prince's is the brand team manages the brand itself. So they'll create a brand strategy with market insights. They will develop brand guidelines and a tone of voice. And then they'll also build kind of big above the line campaigns for the next year and then also for a 5-year future plan. And then it'll be the brand team's priority to then feed their strategy down into the digital marketing teams and the shopper marketing teams. So once they've got a clear focus of that strategy and understand exactly what their aims are going forward, we can then take as a digital team their strategy and kind of make sure that it fits to those different platforms, whether it's the website or social or things like YouTube, because people use those different platforms in a way that you'd take information in differently than you would if you were to see a television campaign as an example. So I've just kind of detailed out really how we work from a digital marketing side of things. So once we've got that brand strategy from our brand teams, we'll then take that away and look at creating a social strategy specific for each of those individual brands. So as I mentioned before, because we've got so many brands within our portfolio, and there's actually only 2 of us that work in the digital marketing team, we will actually rely heavily on a lot of agencies. So as an example, for our social media, we'll help develop a strategy with a social media agency, but then they'll go away and they'll create that content, which comes through to us for approvals to make sure that we're still meeting the needs of what the brand strategy was set as originally. We'll then kind of manage all of the organic social content. We'll also manage a paid social plan. So that will be that our adverts will sit separately with organic content. And then we'll also manage influencer collaborations and partnerships, etc. We actually did a social partnership with Think Wines not so long ago on some of our skinny mixers, juice drinks, which kind of allows us to really expand our breadth and increase our awareness of new products, etc. And then we'll also look at things like social gifting and making sure that we're on top of results analysis. So although as part of the whole digital marketing kind of area, social media is definitely our main focus for how we're going to attract people, how we're going to make sure we're getting those key messages out, how we're making sure that our tone of voice on social media is different to our tone of voice in our above the line campaigns, or different to what we're saying on our website, so that it's meeting the people's needs. So you have to really understand exactly why people are using that platform. They don't want to see us sending out something that's just clearly an advert, whereas they might want to see a recipe that would inspire them to go away and buy our product. So we have to kind of change that brand strategy to make sure it fits. So then we can take those things and lead it onto the brand website, making sure that we're getting traffic across all those different platforms, and making sure that there's just a really broad breadth of information and brand awareness, that we are fighting for that attention. And we'll also take those above the line campaigns from the brand teams, and we'll put those onto YouTube with paid ads or Google display ads, so that once we've got that brand singular message, we can just spread that across lots of different platforms. So this is just an example really of how we'll take the brand strategy and make it relevant. So this is an out of home campaign that we did for Napolina. So the idea of the Napolina campaign was not so humble ingredients, and the focus was that the products are so good that it needs to be put on a pedestal. So we then wanted to take this idea and build up a way that we could make it digital first. So this was a paid social Instagram ad. So it still gave the impression of it's so good, we put it on a pedestal, whilst making it catch people's attention while it was in their feed. Hopefully they'd think they'd scrolled past it, so they'll be taking another look to see if they've missed something. And it worked really well for us. So it just shows how we can take that initial strategy and allow it to help us lead into adaptations across different digital platforms. And then from a Prince's specific, so I actually joined Prince's 7 years ago as part of the commercial graduate scheme. So the graduate scheme itself is a really good opportunity for graduates to kind of test different areas within the commercial departments at Prince's. So you'll do 8 months in sales, 8 months in RGM, which is revenue growth management, which is very commercial led, and then also 8 months in marketing. So the marketing rotation will mean that you'll have experience of working with the shopper marketing teams, the brand marketing teams, and also the digital marketing teams. So the idea of the scheme itself is that you can kind of test them all, understand exactly how the business works, get to know the different functions. And then at the end of the 3 rotations, you'll make a decision on where you'd like to be within the business. So we've actually just opened up the graduate scheme. I think it was the 1st of November that it went live. With applications open until January, and it's basically accepting of anyone with a 2-2 or above in a business related degree. So there should be more information on the website, or if you want, I'll drop my email address in the chat if anyone's got any questions around that. But one thing as well at Prince's is it doesn't always just stop at the graduate role. So we also offer a lot of internal apprenticeships. So that would be, if you're already within a role within the business, there's so many opportunities to join apprenticeships, to maybe look at doing things like project management or other areas within the business that can be opened up to you. Oh, sorry, there is actually a graduate recruitment email address. They probably know a bit more information than I do, so maybe email them instead. And that's me. But yeah, I'll be happy to take any questions at the end if anyone's got any.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Amy. That was really interesting.
No problem.
So we're just going to start the Q&A now. So we're just going to ask the questions, and then feel free to answer whichever ones you're more comfortable answering. So the first question we've got is, you've all shared some successful campaigns that you've completed. We're just wondering, how did you find the target audience? And if you could, what would you do differently?
I'm happy to jump in. Perfect. So because we've got multiple different brands, I think one of the examples that we'd maybe look at is when we're looking at a specific new product or a new brand. So a lot of the times you don't really know exactly who your consumer is going to be for that campaign. So a lot of the times you're taking learnings on it. So I think that's a benefit you'll find in social media marketing. So where the bigger campaigns, where it might be television led, they really need to know who the audience is. But as part of a social strategy, we can test out a couple of different audiences and understand exactly who the content's resonating with. Because we are a food brand, we do find a lot more that you kind of know about what shoppers' habits are, and we can already get that information. So that targeting strategy really helps you kind of understand the breadth. I think there's certain things, maybe we launched a range of skinny mixers, like drinks 2 years ago, maybe, which should have in theory provided us really great results. However, they were in the wrong packaging format, and kind of, although we saw lots of really positive things on social media because of the strategy that we put in place, it turns out that it was actually the product format that wasn't performing as well. So it allows you to give that detailed kind of understanding of exactly who's interested and who's not.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you, Amy. Cam, do you want to ask the next one?
Yeah, so thank you for all sharing your experiences. AI has become so popular now, especially for so many businesses. I just want to know, do any of you use any AI with any of your social media or with any of your marketing strategies, whether that's writing copy or whether that's writing stuff for your website?
I'm happy to answer this one. We use AI quite a lot. We only use ChatGPT as far as AI goes. We use it in different ways. A couple of really clever ways that we've started using it is when we are planning a campaign, we've started to use ChatGPT to do a lot of the research for us. So, for example, we are looking at a new venue launch for a client next year, and it's quite a nostalgic venue. So what we did is we asked ChatGPT to help us like find some funny rumors of the time and pull out some like stuff that we couldn't have found on Google. And what that did is it allowed us to start then building those things back into our campaign. So like rumors about stuff that happened in the 90s that people might have forgotten about. And we've started to build that back into the social content. We do also use it from a blog writing perspective, but what we don't do is just get ChatGPT to write the whole thing and then call it a day. We use it to kind of form a basis for some of our content. And then when you're writing a lot of content in bulk, it's really helpful to have that basis that then you can go and edit, put your own stamp on, put the right tone of voice on.
Fab, thank you. That was so interesting.
So Amy, I know you've just spoken about how you do things differently with your skinny drinks, but we've got another question. So have you found any approach that you've taken to a campaign that has been unsuccessful? If you could just give an example of it.
I think things when it's heavily branded on social, sometimes it just doesn't resonate with people. So a lot of the time you have to think about the reason people are using the platform in the first place, and it's to educate, it's to entertain, and it's not to be forced with a brand down the throat. So we've found that in the past when we've done for example, in Napolina, we literally just posted a square black background with "Your bolognese will thank you" as kind of our key messaging, which we'd seen elsewhere, but it just really didn't work with audiences because no one was interested. They saw it and they were just going straight past because it wasn't giving them a reason to stop or a reason to really understand a little bit more as to why we were posting it.
Yeah, thank you.
And my final question is, it's split in two really. So when you are recruiting for, say you're recruiting for an early career within digital marketing or social media, what kind of skills or what experiences are you looking for? And also, Amy, I know you've already shared, but if you can, please, could you just share the early career opportunities you have available or any in the future?
Yeah.
This is open to everyone as well, by the way.
Do you want to go, Shannon?
I think you're muted, Shannon. You might just have to unmute.
How mortifying stuff. So in terms of skills, we're looking for typically drive, ambition, creativity. A degree isn't it isn't like the be all and end all for us in particular. I think like Kath, our director, really goes for attitude, drive, passion. Passion's a huge one. Obviously a degree is a benefit 100%, but yeah, she's got the best from people when they're passionate, creative, if they've got a genuine passion for socials, that's always handy, and then just like some topic knowledge basically. And in terms of opportunities, I'd say the best thing to do would be email our director. I will pop or DM us. That's perfect as well. We are SN on socials. and our email on our website is Social Nation. So I'll pop the email into the chat, and then you can get in touch if you want to get in touch.
Thank you.
The other stuff that I'd add to that is we get quite a lot of job applications. The stuff that stands out is the stuff that's personal. Like if you spend the time putting research into the company that you're applying for, like even stuff like putting the person's name that you're emailing. I know it sounds like common sense, but the amount of emails that I get that say "Dear Sir" are so frustrating. So make sure you know who you're emailing. And the other thing is we will stalk your social profiles, especially if you are applying for a social media role. So I will be looking for your LinkedIn, your Instagram, and your TikTok. So just be aware that employers do that, especially if you're applying for a social role, because I want to see that if you guys say that you're good at creating content, that the content on your feeds looks good.
Thanks for that, Pippa. That is really useful. I'm sure everyone's taking that on board. Thank you.
It's fine if you like going out and having a great time. You don't have to be professional all the time, but it is just like we do go and have a look.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think we have some questions in the chat. I'm not sure if we've got time to.
Yeah, so if we do 2 questions from the chat. So Bethany has said, for people in more creative degrees, what's the best way to get started in marketing, do you think?
I mean, experience, I think, is always useful. So there's no harm in going out and doing some kind of volunteer jobs, maybe somewhere, to just gather different areas of marketing to understand what you want. I think obviously things like graduate schemes are always a great way to understand exactly where you want to be, because not all the time. For example, my degree was business management. I never thought I'd end up in a digital marketing role from that. I always thought it'd be very commercial led. So I think it's always worth understanding exactly what that means for you, and taking as much opportunity to try things. 100%.
Yeah, lots of different work experience. Like if you can get placements with different types of companies, like the other thing that, so my first job that I got in PR actually came off the back of I'd done some work experience for somebody, and the day after I finished my degree, I got a call saying, oh, my friend recommended you because you did some work experience. Do you want to come do work experience with me? And I stayed there for 2.5 years. So make sure you're making those connections and going trying different things.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say as well, one of the biggest things for us is similar to what the ladies have touched on in terms of volunteering your time and seeing how much experience that you can get, and also utilising LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a huge platform, and there's so much reach. And so we use LinkedIn, our whole team, every single day, updates every single week. So that could also be your best friend as well. So I'd definitely say start a LinkedIn if you haven't got one already.
Thank you. And one final question, which is a bit technical. This is from Bannon. Do you use any testing in any of your marketing strategies or on social media when you're finding target audiences, say, for example, or when you're launching campaigns?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll often do like A/B testing. So if we're not 100% sure what the main wording is going to be or what our final graphic's going to be, a lot of the time we'll put out a couple of them and we'll understand exactly what performs well with each audience. And then we can kind of boost our spend depending on what's exactly working better. Things like that. We can also test things like what links are going to work best, what's going to drive people to where we need to drive them to, etc.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so that answers. I think that's all the questions in the chat done.